America, this is the Funky Academic Presidential Primary Special. In the February debate in New Hampshire, Chuck Todd asked Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton about their legislative priorities. Hillary Clinton gave a wish list of 10 priorities and Bernie Sanders gave 2. In order, the 2 were campaign finance reform and income inequality. His was the bolder feminist agenda. Hit the beat. To explain why prioritizing campaign finance is better intersectional feminism, let's start with a few premises. Caregiving work disproportionately falls on women. Women do a majority of childcare and a majority of elder care. This work is largely uncompensated and definitely under-respected. We give them Mother's Day, but what we really need to do is change some political structures to make this work less onerous. Instead of doing that, American political economy is organized to make women's livelihoods more burdensome, and these problems get exponentially worse the farther down we let women fall into poverty. It's one thing to be paid less than men, but to be paid less than men and then have to deal with crushing student debt is soul-sucking. If you are a single mom and your kid gets sick, you can be fired from your non-union job. And there isn't a real infrastructure for subsidized childcare in the United States. The lack of these political supports are all ways the political economy is organized to shunt money and stability to a male workforce, redistributing instability and lower-wage caregiving work to women. Instead of being free, women are more liable to be coerced by their circumstances and the shape of our political economy. Feminist policies would remove this political coercion by introducing subsidized childcare, subsidized elder care, job protection for family emergencies, and tuition-free public universities. We have quite a few politicians who believe in these policies, but in order to be elective, they have to cozy up to business interests. Interests that are relatively content with a political economy that is hostile to women. In response to the influence of these moneyed actors, congressmen and elected officials then adjust their political priorities away from issues of gender justice and towards how we can better help large economic actors. Comprehensive campaign finance reform shifts the focus of Congress from maintaining competing business interests, all of whom may be content with shunting uncompensated caregiving work to women, to focus on providing the conditions for citizens' freedom, and that includes emancipating women from their coercive circumstances. Campaign finance reform shifts the debate and the agenda towards making women's lives easier. Campaign finance reform will also draw a more diverse set of women into elected office because cozy relationships with male-dominated businesses ceases to be a necessary condition for entering the electoral arena. We will more easily be able to draw political leaders from non-remunerative work, for example, from PTAs and school boards. There are many aspects of citizenship that don't turn on profit. But right now, our politicians are disproportionately attuned to the aspects of social life that earn concern and attract money, because they need this money for their campaigns. The moneyed interests then use that profit to buy influence and access in our government. To recap, comprehensive campaign finance reform is a feminist issue, because the aim is to free politicians from the disproportionate influence of profit-generating industries. For example, fossil fuels and oil. And instead, campaign finance reform would allow politicians to focus on creating the political conditions in order to do good work, regardless of whether this good work generates profit, to help more people live a life of democratic self-determination, whether self-determination is defined minimally as self-rule or more robustly as participating in popular sovereignty. Campaign finance reform hopes to emancipate politicians from overvaluing profit-making industries and allow electoral officials the room to transform the political economy from one that is organized to celebrate the male workforce that emerges from patriarchal structures to one that transforms this patriarchal economy so that it better supports, subsidizes, industrializes, and respects non-remunerative work. The kind of care work that's necessary for our political life, but the kind of care work that's disproportionately undercompensated and performed by women. Until we overhaul campaign finance, gender justice issues that are hostile to business interests that earn concern and attract money will never be legislative priorities. Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be.